You know how it is. You're not talking to them, maybe you haven't seen them in ages, but there they are. Their face, their name, their memory just keeps showing up in your mind. It's uninvited, but it's pretty much impossible to ignore. It's such a strange and honestly confusing feeling when someone takes up that much space in your head long after they've left your life. So what are we supposed to do with these echoes of the heart?
And of course, every single time it happens, that's the question that pops into your head, right? Is this a sign? Is Allah trying to tell me something? Or is this just me, my own feelings, my own heart, just refusing to let go of the past? That's the question at the very center of all of this, and it's what we're going to explore today.
All right, let's start with that feeling, the uninvited memory. It's so unsettling, isn't it? Because it feels like it's coming from somewhere totally outside of your control, and it makes you second-guess everything. You know, the psychology behind this is actually pretty fascinating. Our minds don't work like a computer. We can't just drag someone into the trash bin and empty it. See, our memories are all tangled up with emotions, and really strong emotions, they leave deep footprints. Sometimes all it takes is the tiniest trigger, a cousin mentioning their family or driving past a street where you met one time, and boom, it all comes rushing back. It's like the door to that memory was never fully closed.
And here's one of the biggest reasons why this happens. Our brains just hate unfinished stories. When a connection ends without any real closure, a proposal that just kind of faded out or a friendship that just vanished in the thin air, the mind hits replay. Over and over again. It's searching for an ending that was never written. And those loose ends, man, they can echo for a very, very long time.
So, this natural psychological pull leads us right back to that huge question. Once we understand how our own minds tend to work, we can start to unpack the two main ways to look at these thoughts. Are they coming from our own desires, or could they be from a higher wisdom?
Okay, so this is a really crucial point. Not every thought that pops into your head is some kind of divine sign. On one hand, it absolutely could be what we call the nafs. That's our own ego, our own desires, just replaying what it once loved or lost. But on the other hand, it could be from Allah, but maybe not for the reason we think. It could be a test. It could be a lesson in patience, or maybe it's just a little nudge to turn your focus back to Him.
So what exactly is the nafs? Well, in Islamic thought, it's our ego self. It's that part of us that's driven by worldly attachments, by emotions, by all those desires. It's the part of you that just wants to hold on to things, that longs for what it once had, even if Allah has already turned that page and closed the chapter.
And what's really interesting is that modern psychology actually has a name for this too. They call them memory loops. When a person is tied to a really powerful emotion, like deep hope or serious heartbreak, the brain literally creates pathways that just keep circling back to that one memory. So it's not always destiny pulling you back. A lot of the time, it's your own mind just revisiting a place it hasn't fully moved on from yet.
So if it's often just our own mind, what does that actually mean? Well, this is where it gets really powerful, because the focus suddenly shifts from them to you. These thoughts often tell us way more about what's going on inside of us.
I want you to think of it like this. Your thoughts are a mirror. They're not just random noise. They're a direct reflection of what's happening deep inside your own heart. They're giving you a chance to look inward and really understand your own spiritual state.
So, what might you see when you look in that mirror? Well, maybe it's showing you a struggle with letting go, or a really deep attachment to people that might be stronger than your attachment to God. It could be revealing your impatience for something you want, like marriage, or maybe it's just pointing to an old wound that you never really handed over to Allah to heal. See, the person isn't the point, the lesson is.
And this brings us to a really critical choice. The thought itself isn't really the problem. The real question is, what do you do with it? Which path do you let it take you down? See, every single time that memory comes back, you're standing at a crossroads, and there are two paths in front of you. One is a total trap, and the other is a source of guidance. And the one you choose changes absolutely everything. Path 1, this is the trap. This is where you feed the thought. You start scrolling through old social media profiles, replaying conversations in your head, losing focus in your prayers. And the more you feed it, the emptier you feel. It's exactly like drinking salt water. It promises to quench your thirst, but it only leaves you thirstier. This is the path of the nafs.
But then there's path 2. And this is the path of guidance. On this path, every time their name pops into your heart, you don't chase after it. You redirect it. You turn it into a prayer. This path doesn't leave you feeling restless and anxious. It actually leaves you feeling softer, more patient. It makes your heart ready for whatever beautiful thing Allah has planned for you next.
So how can you tell which path you're on? The Prophet, peace be upon him, gave us the perfect compass. Just ask your heart. If this whole thought process leaves you feeling heavy, anxious, and distracted from Allah, that's a pretty clear sign it's a trap. But if it leads you to prayer, to patience, to this calm sense of trust, that's a sign it's guidance.
So knowing this, how do we actively choose that path of guidance? What is the actual practical Islamic solution for finding peace and clarity when you're caught in these echoes?
All right, here we go. The first and most crucial step is actually so simple. Do not chase the thought. That memory is not an instruction manual telling you to run after them. That is the trap of the nafs. Instead, you have to make a conscious choice to redirect that energy.
And how do you redirect it? You turn it into worship. You make this specific, powerful dua. In that moment, you take all your confusion, all your longing, all that ache, and you hand it directly over to Allah. You're asking for His wisdom, not your own, to lead the way. And just like that, even your pain becomes a beautiful act of worship.
This whole practice, this is the essence of what we call tawakkul, which means active trust in God. Now, it's really important to get this right. Tawakkul isn't just passive waiting around, hoping things happen. No, it's an active, two-step process. You take the means you have, like making this dua, and then you consciously let go of the outcome, trusting completely in Allah's perfect plan.
And this beautiful hadith reminds us exactly why we can have this kind of trust. Think about it. Even your own heart and the hearts of every other person are not outside of His control. He directs them however He wills. There is such an immense peace in knowing that the ultimate controller of all hearts is the most merciful.
And this is the ultimate comfort you get from tawakkul. When you truly hand it over to Him, one of two things is going to happen. If this person is written for you, trust me, Allah will open a path in ways you could never even imagine. And if they are not, He will close that door. And more importantly, He will heal your heart. So either way, you are safe. Either way, you are completely cared for.
So the next time their memory returns, please don't get stuck asking, why them? Why am I thinking of them again? Instead, I want you to empower yourself by asking a much better question. What will I do with this moment? Will you let it become a trap of obsession and restlessness, or will you use it as a beautiful reminder to turn your heart back to the one who created it in the first place? The choice is always yours.